Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is here, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV, where every day's a great day not to be in a cult. And it's also every day a great day to remind the world that the world's most recognizable movie star is also the poster child for one of the world's most destructive, international, multi-billion-dollar, family-destroying human trafficking cults known as Scientology. Now, guys, Tom Cruise has failed utterly in what I speculated was part of a coordinated program to curry favor with the French government and to advance relations with Scientology and the French government forward with the aim of getting Scientology recognized as an actual religion in France, getting Scientology tax-exempt status in France, which it does not enjoy. Scientology has a very adversarial relationship with the French government. And so about a week ago, sort of at the same time that the whole Olympic, what is the opening ceremonies pretty much coincided with the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. Tom Cruise was awarded. It was widely reported that Tom Cruise was awarded one of the highest civilian honors that can be bestowed by the French government. I'll show you one example of how this was reported. Tom Cruise awarded Knight of the Legion of Honor by France. That sounds like a pretty big deal. It was reported as if it was a pretty big deal. It was reported as if it was, as I just said, one of the highest civilian honor that someone can be bestowed. And I did a video about that. I was contacted by many French people going, this is being misunderstood and misreported by the American press. He was not actually awarded a Knight in the Legion of Honor. He was actually awarded Knight of Arts and Letters by France, which is more of a cultural thing. It's an artsy thing. And when this honor is bestowed to someone who is not a French citizen, it is actually more or less completely meaningless. And yet it's still a bit of a PR coup to have the world's most famous Scientologist being given an honor by the French government, especially considering what a horrible relationship the French government has with Scientology. I have also been told by someone who has been a very reliable source of information over in France. But once I independently verify this, I will do a standalone video because I don't know for myself that for 100% that this is true. That the outgoing French cultural minister who awarded Scientology who awarded Tom Cruise this award, that her mother either is or was a Scientologist. Maybe you guys can help me fact check this. I'm going to do some additional homework on this. And if this is true, that's fascinating. Because remember, guys, all of this also coincided with a huge push from David Miscavige, Scientology's tiny little evil dictator, to open up Scientology's brand new massive building for its existing tiny little organization, just a stone's throw away from where all of the Olympics brouhaha is going down in Paris, France. Okay. So what am I saying Tom Cruise actually failed at here? Well, if there was any coordinated effort to improve relationships between Scientology and its most famous poster boy, Tom Cruise, and the French government, oh boy, did they fail. Scientology made no secret of the fact that it was going to capitalize on the Olympic Games and its brand new building in Paris to try and push and promote and proselytize Scientology as much as possible. Well, it turns out that done gone got them in a little bit of trouble. Okay, there is a government organization in France, an organization within the French government, specifically tasked with keeping an eye on cults and sects and SECTS, and Scientology has been one of the main organizations that this one of the main cults that this governmental agency has been keeping an eye on. The name of the agency is MIVILUDES. See, there's an S at the end. I'm never sure if the S is supposed to be pronounced. So it's MIVILUDES or MIVILUDES or MIVILUDES. I don't know, guys. Okay, it is called in French, it stands for Mission Interministérielle de Vigilance et de Lutte contre les dérives secretaires. Okay. In other words, this stands for the Interministerial Mission of Vigilance and Fight Against Sectarian Deviations. Okay, so this branch, this agency within the French government posted a warning to people about Scientology and what they have been caught doing around the Olympic Games. This is the website for MIVILUDES. It says Olympic Games. Attention! MIVILUDES has received reports of the distribution of leaflets by the association No to Drugs, Yes for Life. By the way, this is a translated article, so the language is going to be a little, wonky. Before or during the Olympic Games in the following cities, Paris, Marseille, and Angers, during the passage of the Olympic flame. The distribution of these leaflets may have been made to individuals in public spaces or in mailboxes, but also to Parisian merchants. A distribution of leaflets from this association was reported in the following arrondissements, the 9th, the 12th, the 14th, the 16th, and the 18th. After being alerted to the presence of these brochures in certain Parisian pharmacies, MIVILUDES informed the Pharmacists Association. As a reminder, it is mentioned on the website of this association. The association, No to Drugs, Yes for Life, is a partnership with the Foundation for a Drug-Free World, an international association of information and training on drugs sponsored by the Church of Scientology and supported by Scientologists around the world. Representatives of Scientology propose in particular to convert people on the occasion of a free personality test, the distribution of tracts or brochures, free introductory conferences, courses, and study of Dianetics, the learning and personal development methodology created by L. Ron Hubbard, or any other cultural or humanitarian events. Scientology practices present risks of mental destabilization, exorbitant financial demands, and rupture with the original environment, particularly family. Several representatives or organizations of Scientology have been the subject of judicial convictions in France. In 1997, conviction of the former president of Scientology in Lyon for involuntary manslaughter following the suicide of a follower, and conviction of fraud. In 1999, conviction of 5 Scientologists for fraud by the Criminal Court of Marseille. In October 2013, confirmation of the Court of Cassation of the conviction of 2 of the main French structures of Scientology for organized fraud, aggravated receipt of stolen goods, extortion, to fines totaling 600,000 euros, of 4 of its directors to suspended prison sentences and fines for the same acts, and finally, of 2 other managers to fines for illegal practice of pharmacy. Any new criminal fact brought to the attention of MIVILUDES will be systematically transmitted to the Public Prosecutor's Office for prosecution purposes. Yikes, those are fighting words. And guys, this wasn't just published on an obscure page of a website that nobody would see. These guys don't mess around. They tweeted this bad boy. So here we can see the official Twitter account of MIVILUDES. And as you can see, translate the bio, Interministerielle Mission of Vigilance and Fight Against Sectarian Deviation is what that says there. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what these guys did on Twitter. MIVILUDES has received reports relating to an association, No to Drugs, Yes to Life, which is taking advantage of the Olympics to promote the Church of Scientology under the guise of prevention. MIVILUDES encourages the greatest vigilance. Damn. Well, I guess the idea that Tom Cruise getting an award by someone in the French government was a predictor of some improvement or special treatment from the French government to Scientology, improvement of the relations there, does not seem to be the case. Tom Cruise has failed once again. I do truly, regardless of how any of this plays out in the press, I truly believe there was a coordinated, pre-planned effort between David Miscavige and Tom Cruise to capitalize on the Olympics to bring as much attention and goodwill and a halo effect to Scientology as possible. I think it is also quite easy to underestimate how hated Scientology is in France. Their PR is absolutely horrible. And the fact that they've even purchased this giant new monstrosity of a building that is completely empty and completely vacant, but located right directly where the Olympic events were going to be happening. I mean, even that, you know, it's easy to think that, oh, people are going to be razzled and dazzled and they're going to be impressed and they're going to be like, wow, this organization must be doing great. Maybe they know something we don't know. Maybe I should go in and see what tools for life they have. No, it's kind of like the people who are on the ground in Paris have continued to say that this building is completely empty. It's completely vacant. New people are not going in. This story is being told and retold and playing out over and over and over again in cities all around the world, where Scientology is trying to razzle and dazzle people with their brand new buildings. Even in Chicago, guys, even in Chicago, where they recently opened a giant brand new building, and David Miscavige showed up to make a big speech. I have spoken to people. I'm being very general in this so as not to point attention at any particular persons. I have spoken to people who were intimately involved in the internal Scientology operations in Chicago leading up to the grand opening ceremony of the new building, including being intimately involved many months after all of this. They saw the buildup. They saw what happened the day of. They saw the gradual collapse of everything following the grand opening of the building. And the people that I have been in touch with have said not a single brand new person has gotten into Scientology in Chicago since the grand opening of that building. And that's in America, where Scientology has a horrible reputation, but not as horrible of a reputation as it has in France. Absolutely incredible. Okay, everyone, just a short one on this. Let me see. I've got Barb in the back office helping me start some comments. Let's see what we have. Sweet Tea, thank you for becoming a channel member. That is awesome. Failed Pessimist. Aaron, French Canadians salute you for your best go, and Francois. Thank you very much. Blue Nana, I knew France wasn't going to let Scientology get its way. I know the French. Angel Thunder, how are these guys able to get away with this? Yeah, I don't know. Kylie, where is Scientology the largest in all of Europe? I always guessed that it was either the UK, Germany, or France, but I was just curious if you knew for sure what the answer was. Okay. I usually think of this in terms of single organizations or single cities. In Europe, Copenhagen, Denmark, is probably the city that has the most Scientology happening. And that is because Copenhagen is the European headquarters for all of Scientology. St. Hill, England is the UK headquarters for all of Scientology in the UK. St. Hill, England has an advanced organization. That means it's an upper level organization staffed by C organization members where you can do the OT levels. Copenhagen is the only advanced organization in all of Europe. Not only, and it also is the headquarters. So it's the headquarters of the Scientology Continental Management Offices. It's also the headquarters of the advanced organization. And it is also the location of a lower level, what they call a class 5 Scientology organization in Copenhagen. It has all of those things happening right in Copenhagen. So now, there are more Scientology organizations in Germany than there are in Denmark. But I still believe there are probably more Scientologists in Denmark than there are in Germany. The German orgs are just as small as any other org. But in Germany, you've got Munich, you've got Berlin, you've got Hamburg, you've got Dusseldorf, you've got Stuttgart. That's 5 orgs right off the top of my head in Germany. That might be all 5 of them, but there's at least 5 of them. Hope that answers that question. Thank you very much. Jay Rambo, what exactly was the award given for? Sorry if you answered this, but I came in late. Based on the press release that was put out, it really seemed that the award Tom got was for featuring Paris prominently in one of the recent Mission Impossible movies. But when they said the one that it seemed like it was like back in 2017. You know, that's like 7 years ago. So who knows, guys? Who knows? Karen McCourt, will Tom Cruise still parachute at the Olympics? That is an affirmative based on all reports. I don't have any secret inside knowledge, but it sounds like Tom Cruise is going to rappel from the stadium where the closing ceremonies are happening. He's going to rappel from the ceiling, and then he's going to take the flag, and then he's going to run out of the stadium. And then they've got a lot of pre-recorded segments of him zipping through Paris traffic on a motorcycle and jumping into an airplane and then flying to LA and jumping out of the airplane and parachuting down to the Hollywood sign and then giving the flag to athletes who then give the flag to other athletes who then I think give the flag to the mayor of Los Angeles. Yeah. And it sounds like all this started being filmed way back in March. See, that's the thing. Tom Cruise would have already known, well, way prior, even prior to March, that he was going to have a very prominent role in the closing ceremonies of the Olympics. That would have fueled all of the fire that David Miscavige needed to force the new Scientology building in Paris to open. Remember, guys, it's just a new building. It's not a new organization. In fact, David Miscavige closed an organization and combined two organizations into one to even have a hope of having enough people to stick inside this building. There used to be a regular lower level class 5 organization in Paris, just called the Paris Organization. And then there was a special one dedicated solely for celebrities called Celebrity Center Paris, or CC Paris. No longer are there two organizations. It's all one. David Miscavige actually closed an organization. So don't be confused. This is not expansion of any kind. It's only expansion of square footage. It's expansion of real estate. It's expansion of the electricity bill that they'll never be able to pay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I feel like the fact that Tom would have known that he was going to be so pivotal in the Olympic ceremonies would have given David Miscavige all the fuel that he needed to really demand and force that the new Paris building be opened up to try and make it seem, make no mistake, even though Scientology has failed to capitalize on all of these events to recruit more people into Scientology, David Miscavige is still going to lie his ass off at the next Scientology event about this. You are going to see videos after videos after videos of Scientologists passing out promo to people who are very excited to receive it. You're going to see faked videos of people being body routed into the Paris org. These videos are staged. They're all pre-recorded and staged. And Miscavige is going to announce some just ridiculously false inflated statistics for number of new people reached and number of new Scientology starts and increased traffic to the website and personality tests and all this garbage. Because a lot of the performative pieces that David Miscavige puts out these days are really just as much to convince Scientologists that Scientology is expanding. Even more so, in fact, is that the purpose than it is to convince the world outside that Scientology is expanding. The world outside of Scientology doesn't really give a damn whether Scientology is expanding or not, but Scientologists do. And David Miscavige continuing to convince Scientologists that under his leadership, Scientology is growing, not just growing, but growing faster than ever before, growing exponentially 2, 3, 4, 30, 60x year over year over year. Convincing Scientologists that this is reality is largely how David Miscavige continues to retain power. So there's almost nothing he will not do to continue to trick Scientologists into believing that Scientology is actually growing. Scientology up north, good to see you in here. There's photos of children handing out Scientology flyers. Ooh, send those to me. Or if you've got any footage on your channel and your videos of that, please shoot me the links and shoot me some timestamps, and I will help signal boost that. That would be very, very interesting to see. Cricket Cinema. Oh, a parachute. All I heard was drop Tom Cruise on France. Disappointing. Will Tom Cruise's parachute look like a DC-8? I see what you did there. Nero James, what did they do to pull this in? That's the magic question. Rue says, for you to have been raised in a cult, I am continually impressed by your knowledge of geography. Thank you very much. Geography is actually one of the things that kind of like, I've never spent a lot of time dedicated to learning it, but it is something I actually really love. So the little exposure that I have to it, I tend to kind of retain that information like a sponge. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jill Davidson. Thank you, as always, to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right here. If you have 6 squads or not,